Now only a ghost of their former selves, Dorset's lost railways once provided a thriving network. Now severed by development, many will never return to rail use. Some have been lucky preserved survivors. Many, though, are abandoned and relenting back to nature, their routes can barely be discerned. But their former trains spread the seeds of blindside trees and created green corridors. Used by aviators as navigational landmarks, their routes are revealed from the air. With ever-growing pressure on our road networks, some are making a comeback as trailways for walkers, cyclists and horse riding. Campaigners, councils and supporters are coming together to relink their severed track beds once more. We take you on an aerial journey of the remains of some of Dorset's trailways and glide along the landscape in which they pass. And we take a look back in time and discover ghosts of the past along the way. This is a journey of the Castleman Trailway as it stands in 2021. The railway began in 1862, but right from the start it had shaky beginnings and was declared bankrupt just 4 years later in 1866. By 1875, arrangements were made for the London and South Western Railway to lease it jointly with the Midland Railway. Broadstone Station was opened in 1847 by the London and South Western Railway. The junction layout is seen in this 1958 signal box diagram. In this video we journey along the Somerset and Dorset joint railway route to Sturminster Marshall. Looking south from the Broadstone station site today, the route in from Poole can still be discerned, much of it turned into the Broadstone Way main road. The station site itself has been erased by the Broadstone Leisure Centre. Only one original structure remains, seen on the right of this photograph, formerly the Railway Hotel, now known as the Goods Yard Pub. After closure in 1965, some of the station buildings were rescued, being dismantled brick by brick and reassembled at Medstead and Foremark Station on the preserved Midhants Railway. Over the years, the station was renamed no fewer than 6 times before, in 1956, it was simply known as Broadstone. We join the junction to the S&D seen branching off to the left and leave the L&SWR route to Wimborne, which has also become a trailway, which can be seen in part 1 of our video. The London and South Western Railway's route to Southampton was originally linked to the Somerset and Dorset Railway at Wimborne. Later the layout was modified and Broadstone welcomed its first S&D trains in 1872. More about this later. Having cleared the junction, we can open the regulator to steam on, veering northwest crossing Broadstone Golf Course towards Bath. The Castleman Trailway peters out at this point and the track bed is unpassable, some of which has been designated a SSSI for nature by Natural England. The terrain rises steeply here and the railway engineers had to dig a steep cutting at the summit of the golf course in an attempt to ease the gradient from Broadstone Station. pick up the trailway again here, access to which can be gained at Ashington. Shrouded by trees, Ashington Viaduct appears. At Corfmullen, a station halt was provided from 1928 to 1956 for the residential area of East End. Sandwiched in a cutting between two bridges, nothing remains today as the cutting has since been filled in to provide a drive and garden to a private house. Wimborne Road Bridge is missing altogether. Recently though, trees and thick undergrowth has been cut down, once again revealing the face of the bridge. We can only speculate that the purpose of which is to offer the remainder of the plot for further development. West of Wimborne Road, the cutting has been further filled in to make way for the housing estate. Although an eyesore from the air, a local scrap metal recycling facility isn't noticeable from the ground, being shrouded by trees. A small section of track bed has been repurposed as a private dwelling, the garden of which extends over the bridge on Brog Street. Contrary to popular belief, our drone reveals the widened and straightened A31 road from Dorchester to Wimborne has not entirely been built on the old track bed, just adjacent to it. The original S&D route to Wimborne can just be made out, with the later route to Broadstone on the right. The original route caused significant delays to trains bound for Bournemouth, since this necessitated reversal at Wimborne Station. In 1885, a single line cut-off chord was provided, which is the route we have been following. The two routes diverged at Corfmullen Junction, which can be seen in this view in 1960. Subsequently, the original chord to Wimborne lost its passenger service in 1920, but milk trains continued to use the route until 1933. Thereafter, the line was cut back to Carter's clay siding until 1959. The two track spurs run side by side until joining at Corfmullen Junction. Before 1905, the junction was controlled by Bailey Gate signal box, which we'll see later. This 24-lever signal box straddled a level crossing and also controlled two short sidings. Dominating the skyline was Poole Corporation's waterworks. Built in 1915, it was provided with a siding to provide coal for its Hathorne-Davy steam pumping engine, probably similar to the one pictured here. The buildings are now much squatter, having since been converted to electrical power. The signal box no longer exists, but look hard and you may spot a ghost in the form of this small wicket gate to the crossing. The crossing keeper's cottage still stands and has become a private dwelling. Even an original section of track remained in 1985, but over the years has lost one set of its gates. The building has also been respectfully extended. A permissive path following the old track bed begins here, which winds up at the former Bailey Gate crossing. Far away and in contrast to the sprawling district we know today, the original tiny village of Corfmullen was situated north of the line, halfway between the Junction and Bailey Gate crossing. A post office telephone engineer is seen parked next to the tall signal box controlling the gates. The passage of time has taken over this location, but remnants of the former crossing still existed well into the 1990s. It was a signal and telegraph engineer who bore witness to the occasion when an unfortunate Templecombe driver working the 0655 Bath to Bournemouth train smashed through the gates, reducing them to matchwood. A passing motorist, forced to stop whilst the debris was cleared, asked the engineer of the cause. The answer was given in true Old Bill style:
termites.
We cross the A31 trunk road and steam on towards Sturminster Marshall. The track bed here, unfortunately, is not currently passable by foot for a few miles until it reaches the village of Spetsbury, where it can be picked up again, known today as the North Dorset Trailway. We pass the beautiful Dorset Springs Nature Reserve as we head into Sturminster Marshall. Opened in 1860, the station here was most suitably, geographically at least, named Sturminster Marshall. It was later renamed in 1863 Bailey Gate, as the line had been extended to include a station at Sturminster Newton. This was in response to passengers subsequently confusing the two stations. Considerable milk traffic was generated here from the United Dairies milk processing factory seen in the background. In this view, which was obtained from bridge number 220, barrels of whey are seen to be stored in part of the milk factory. The platforms remained for well over 2 decades after closure, but have subsequently been demolished, now replaced with a roundabout serving an industrial estate. seen here under construction in 1995. Class 33 number 6506 heads a freight train south in 1965, loaded with lifted track materials, whilst residents and railwaymen alike continue to complain about the closure. General goods traffic ceased on the 5th of April 1965, but the station remained open until closure of the line. A large housing development now occupies the site to the northwest, accessed by Railway Drive, a token throwback reminder on what has gone before. In part 3 of our series, we'll explore the line further from Sturminster Marshall onward to Blandford Forum.